This podcast is about polynomial division. Now, there are two types of polynomial division: long division and synthetic division. And the type you use depends upon the type of problem you have. Synthetic division only works under certain conditions, whereas long division always works. Now, my recommendation is, if you are able to use synthetic division, do it. Because the long division can be, well, ugly. So let's start off here nice and simple. Let's go old school, way back. Long ago. Way back in those deep, dark crevices of your mind to like 5th grade or something. I don't know, 6th grade, who knows. If I said divide 213 by 5 without pushing buttons, way back then we went, well, let's see, 5 goes into 2? No. 5 goes to 21? Yes, 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 21 minus 20 is 1. Bring down to 3. And then we repeated the process. 13 divided by 5 was 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract is 3. Now, depending upon which year in school it was, we would have either had 42 remainder 3, 42 and 3/5, or 42.6. Those are all legitimate answers. With polynomial division, when we have remainders, we're going to use the fraction form. We're not going to write remainder, we're not going to put decimals. You do not want to put decimals in these things. No. Very, very bad. It makes wombats unhappy. Now, your steps here were to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. And we repeated that. And you repeat it as many times as you need to until you cannot divide anything anymore. Good news, bad news. Polynomial long division follows the exact same steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. It's like a weird kind of chant. I don't know, maybe some drums are playing or something in the background. Bad news, we're going to be dividing things like x cubed and 2x to the 7th and 12x to the 5th and negative 8x squared and, stuff like that. But it's not that hard, I promise. Sort of. Let's start off nice and easy. Did you like that? Okay, so here we have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, all divided by x minus 2. The very first thing to look for in these long division problems is that you have every single power here represented inside. If you have x to the 3rd as your highest power, you have to then have every power afterwards. So x3, x2, x1, and then a number, which would be x0. We just don't write the x0. If you do not have one of those, you must put a 0 in its place, because you have to have that place represented. This one, we've got them all, so we're good to go. We'll do one of the other ones later. So now, with long division of polynomials, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Let's put it over here. And then repeat yourself. When you are dividing, the only thing you care about are the first terms. So for this step, we care about this term and that term. So x cubed divided by x. What does that give you? The answer is x squared. So now we're going to multiply. We just divided, so I'm going to multiply. Here's first chance for you to go wrong. When you multiply, you have to multiply this by every single thing down here. There's no choice in the matter. You have to do that. So x squared times x, x cubed. X squared times negative 2 minus 2x squared. So we divided, we multiplied, now we have to subtract. When we subtract, we change the signs. So that becomes a minus, that becomes a plus. Add straight down, negative 1x squared. Bring down, so plus 2x. And now divide again, only using, let's see here, pink maybe, only using this term and the x this time. So negative 1x squared divided by x, that gives you negative 1x. So now multiply. Negative 1x times x, negative 1x squared. Negative 1x times 2, plus 2x. Next step is subtract. To subtract, you got to change the signs. So he becomes a plus and he becomes a minus. Now add straight down. That cancels out. That cancels out. And you have 0. Next step is to bring down. Now 0 minus 1, you can combine that together. Just get minus 1 out of that. You cannot divide negative 1 by x. It just doesn't happen. When you cannot divide any longer, that becomes your remainder. So we're going to write plus for the remainder. You put this value on top, and you put this over here, what you divided by, on the bottom. And that is your answer right up here on top. X squared minus 1x plus negative 1 over x minus 2. You just did a polynomial division problem. Isn't that exciting? Okay, I know it isn't, pretend, okay? All right, next example. Let's see here. Let's go. Okay, we have 2x to the fourth minus x squared plus 5x plus 6, all divided by x squared minus x plus 1. Step 1, check all your powers inside. Since you have x to the fourth, you have to have x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and a number. We are missing x to the third. Can't have that. So what we have to do is insert it where it would normally go. So I'm going to go over here. Let's go to a fresh page. You can see it better. So you had 2x to the fourth. Since we're missing x to the third, put it as plus 0x cubed. And the rest just copy down. Minus x squared plus 5x, that was a plus 6. Yes. Yes, get that line a little bit better. It's way too high. Close enough. So now this problem may look a little bit worse, but believe it or not, it's actually a little bit easier. Well, sort of, ish. So again, first term. So 2x to the fourth divided by x squared. That gives you 2x squared. Multiply. Multiply again. Multiply again. Now we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract, change every sign. So it becomes a minus. No, I don't want that color. I want a blue. There we go. So that becomes a minus. That becomes a plus. This becomes a minus. Now add straight down. So gone. That gives us 2x cubed minus 3x squared. Bring down your 5x. Now divide again, and we're going to again use just our first terms. So 2x cubed divided by x squared. That is plus 2x. Multiply. 2x cubed. Multiply again, minus 2x squared. Multiply again, plus 2x. Draw your line. We're going to subtract. Change the sign, change the sign, change the sign. Add straight down. So those cancel. Negative 1 x squared. Let's see, 5 minus 2 is 3. So plus 3x. Bring down your 6. Plus 6. We can still divide since it's x squared and x squared. Your rule of thumb to tell when to stop dividing, if this power right here is less than the power up here, you can't divide. If it's the same or higher, you can divide. So since they're both x squared, we're good to go right now. So let's divide again, first term and first term. Negative 1x squared divided by x squared. So that's going to give us, let's change colors here. Let's go for pink. That's minus 1. So negative 1 times x squared minus 1x squared. Negative 1 times negative x plus 1x, or plus x. Doesn't matter. And then minus 1. Now for the last time, we're going to change the signs. So plus, minus, plus. That gives us 2x, because those cancel out. And then plus 7. So this power, this is x to the first, that is less than x to the second. We can no longer divide. This is the remainder. Put your plus, put your remainder on top, and put what you divided by on the bottom. And your problem is finished. You're done. That's all it took. See how much fun that was? Kind of. Probably not so much, but you know. You know you enjoyed it deep down. You know you did. Now here's your problem for you guys to try. Let's see here. I'll keep it easy-ish, kind of. Okay, 3x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2 divided by x squared plus 2x plus 3. Go ahead and do the problem on your own. Pause the recording. Work out the problem. When you have your solution, hit the play button again, and I'll work out the problem for you. Any questions? I'm just kidding. You can't actually ask me a question because it's a recording. Awkward. All right, push the pause button, do your problem. I'll wait right here for you. Did you miss me? No? Okay, whatever. All right, step 1, check your powers inside. x3, x2, x1, not there. So I'll go ahead and move this 2 here. No, I want you. No, I want the 2. 2. Fine, I'll cheat. Got to add our 0x in, and then put my 2 back on. Because you have to have descending powers. 3, 2, 1, and no x. So now go ahead and divide first term by first term. So that gives us 3x. Your steps should look just like this. Got it so far? If not, most likely right here, you made a sign error. That's the most common spot to make mistakes in these problems. Now divide again, you get minus 10. Change your signs. This is x to the first, that's x squared. You cannot divide anymore. So add your plus, put 11x plus 32 all over x squared plus 2x plus 3. That should be your answer. If anything is wrong, most likely it's the signs in the subtraction step there. You might have forgotten to change one of them. It happens. No one's perfect. Except for me, of course, but that's different because it's, me. Alright, so that is polynomial long division. Kind of painful because it's long. It's not hard, it's just long division. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. That's all it takes, believe it or not. It really is. Alright, so next up, let's do some synthetic division. Sounds like fun, right? I don't think you believe me right now, but it really is fun. So synthetic division. This does have conditions, as I said earlier. Your biggest condition your divisor, which is the thing you're dividing by, on the outside, not the inside, has to be x to the first power. If you have x squared or higher, you can't use synthetic division. X to the first only. Which makes it kind of unfortunate, because you get these long problems, you want to use synthetic division, and you can't. So it has to be x to the first. It's got to be. Sorry. No two ways around it. Now to do this, it's actually fairly simple. So this is our problem. Simple problem we had last time. 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6x plus 1 divided by x minus 1. So check number 1, are all your powers on the inside? 3, 2, 1, and a number? Yes, we're good. Check number 2 for synthetic. On the outside, is the x to the first power? Yes. So I can use synthetic division. And here's how you're going to set it up. The theorem says you are dividing by x minus c. So you want to use c on the outside. Kind of like the parabolas, the ellipses, and the hyperbolas, and things like that. We're going to be taking this and changing the sign. So if you have x minus 1, you're going to use positive 1 on the outside. Draw a little box like this and put a positive 1 in it. So whatever this is right here, you're changing the sign. Because you're dividing by x minus c. So if you had x minus c sitting here, x would match up, minus match up, and c would be 1. That's why it's 1, not negative 1, because it matches this form. So we have positive 1. Now on the inside, list all the coefficients and signs. Do not write any of the letters, just the coefficients and signs. So 2, negative 4, 6, and 1. 2, negative 4, 6, and 1. I try to space mine out just in case I get big numbers. Some problems you do, some problems you don't. And if you have your numbers too cramped together, try to write these big numbers down, it gets ugly. Now you can draw your bar here. On the very bottom, take your first number and drop it down. Every single time. Doesn't matter what it is, you drop it right straight down. Next up, we're going to multiply. We're going to take 1 times 2, which is 2, and write the answer in the next column. Now we're going to add straight down. So negative 4 times 2, plus 2, is negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Write that in this column. Add straight down, 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Add straight down, 5. Your last column is your remainder. To write your answer, look at your highest power. You had x to the third as your highest power. So let's go ahead and make this x to the second. So 2x squared minus 2x plus 4 plus remainder, value goes on top, what you divided by goes on the bottom. And you've got your answer and everyone's happy. See how fast that was? I mean, we're talking seriously fast here. All right, next example, I'm going to use the problem we did earlier, one of the division problems, so you can compare the long division to the synthetic division and see I'm not just making this up, that it gives you the exact same answer. So let's do that real quick. Let's see here. Let's use which problem? So use this one. X cubed minus 3x squared let's see, what was it? Minus 2x plus 1? Plus 2x minus 1. I knew that. And we were dividing by x minus 2. So check your powers. 3, 2, 1 number, we're good. So change your sign. Put it in your box. Coefficients only. Draw your line. Bring your first number down. Multiply. 2 times 1, 2. Negative 3 plus 2, negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Add is 0. 2 times 0, 0. It gives you negative 1. So this is x cubed, so we have x squared minus x plus negative 1 over x minus 2, which as you can see, I get over here, is the same thing we had in the long division problem. So if you're dividing by x to the first power, I would use synthetic division, because compare that problem to that. Personally, I prefer this amount of work. Call me crazy, but I think it looks better. Just my opinion. Let's try an easy one here real quick. All right, this time we are dividing by 2x plus 1. So the x actually has a number in front of it. Now, you want to have that form of x minus c. That's not quite what we have. We have a number in front of the x here. So what you're going to do to find your c value, take this number here, change the sign, -1, divide by this number in front of the x, 2. So -1/2. If I divide it by 2 and by 2, I would have x plus 1/2, which then meets the form, almost, that I want. So if your x has anything besides a 1 in front of it, if it's 2x or 3x or 10x or whatever, take your last number, change the sign, and then divide by your first number. So inside the box goes -1/2, or -0.5, doesn't matter. On the inside, 4, 8, and -6. Draw your line, bring it down. So -1/2 times 4 is -2. 8 minus 2 is 6. -1/2 times 6 is -3. Gives us -9. Started with x squared, so we're going to have 4x plus 6 plus -9 all over 2x plus 1 as our answer. Wasn't that fun? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. Just thought I'd give it a try. Alright, here's one for you guys trying your own. Let's see. So you have 6x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x minus 4, all divided by x plus 3. So go ahead, push the pause button, and divide this using synthetic division. When you're done, push play. I'll work it out. Hi, welcome back. Missed you. So in the box goes -3. Put down your coefficients. I know, it's slanting. You'll live. Multiply, you get -18. Add, -21. Multiply, you get 63. Add, you get 65. Multiply, you get -195. Add, -192. Multiply, let's see here, it's going to be 6, 7, 5. Add, you get 572. You had x to the 4th, so you start 1 power lower. So that would be, this become x cubed, this would be x squared, this would be plus x, and then you'd have this as your remainder. So you should have 6x cubed minus 21x squared plus 65x minus 192 plus 572 over x plus 3. Hopefully you have that. And that's why I say leave space for your numbers, because those numbers will get a little bit bigger than what we had before. That is synthetic division. There's nothing really hard to it. Only works when your x on the outside is the first power. X squared or higher, can't use it. Sorry. So that's all for this podcast. I'll see you next time.